All right, what is up, my peeps? Joshua Smithy with another GSD Mode podcast real estate tip. And today I'm here to talk to you about your sphere of influence and how to grow your sphere of influence effectively to be able to maximize on all that future gold, all that repeat referral business. Now, when I'm speaking to sphere of influence, what I'm speaking to here is not just, so many people in our industry get confused thinking that sphere of influence is just past clients. Like I'll get new agents that come into the industry. They're like, oh, well, I don't have any sphere of influence yet because I don't have any past clients. No, your sphere of influence are any warm relationships. You know, I know that there's not clear definitions inside of our industry, but the way that I look at this is, okay, if you're at the grocery store, pushing the shopping cart down the aisle, you're at the grocery store, you see somebody, you know that you know them, they're a familiar face. Maybe you're like, man, I don't quite remember their name. I don't even quite remember exactly how I know, but I know them. You wave, you say hi, you smile at each other. Like it's a warmer relationship. So your sphere of influence is really any type of warm relationship that you have that relationship with. And past clients is a silo, is a spoke, if you will, of your sphere of influence. So we're really going to chunk this down and break this down today. But the reason why this is so important is if we look at the stats, and the stats that NAR is put out has really been about the same my entire 20-year career. And whether you like NAR, whether you don't like NAR, one of the things that they do a great job at is collecting data for us, doing all these surveys and going out there, interviewing consumers post-transaction, following up with them. They do a really good job at collecting data. So that is one area that they do a great job at, right? So pretty much throughout my whole entire career, the stat has been 88% of buyers and sellers after the deal's closed said they enjoyed their real estate agent. Their real estate agent did a great job. They absolutely would utilize their real estate agent again, but only 11% ever do a repeat transaction with them. And look, is there a percentage of those that, hey, maybe their brother, sister, son, daughter, family, another family member gets licensed or they get licensed? Yes, there is a percentage of that. But the vast majority, the reason why they don't do a repeat transaction with that realtor that they said that they would do, right, is because they forget who the hell their agent is and was. And if you look at this, when I talk about the future gold, once you've been in the business 5 years, really starts getting damn good at 10 years, but about 5 years, this should really be kicking in for you. And what I mean by kicking in at 5 years, like how I always gauge and judge, like when I'm working with a coaching client, if their past client sphere of influence is actually effective with their strategy, is by year 5, you should have 50% of your transactions coming from past client, sphere of influence, repeat referral business, and repeat referral, business through your SOI. And that is, okay, if you are growing your business at a 30% year-over-year growth trajectory. So it's easy to get to the point where like, oh yeah, 100% of my business comes from my sphere of influence, but then that's an agent that I'm usually talking to that's, 12 deals the year before, 12 deals this year. Like their business isn't growing. So when I say 50%, I'm talking that your business is also growing 30% year over year. So, if you did 100 units, now you're doing 130 units, right? So growing your business by at least 30% year over year so we continue that growth in your business. So that means that you have a good, strong leg of new client acquisition business, which is always, because the whole point of new client acquisition is to get clients, get that commission check, but then boom, we're adding those to your sphere. And over time, now I know I've been doing this for a long time and we're operating a large team, but you get to the point where like, okay, with my team and I, we do like 300 plus past clients, sphere of influence, repeat referral deals every single year. So one of my good friends, one of my agent partners that is a partner of mine, having a conversation with her the other day, she's on track to do 70 transactions this year by herself, right? Not counting a team. I mean, this is just on her own. And we're having a conversation about where business is coming in now from this. And pretty much all of her deals now, these 70 deals is coming in from that repeat referral business from her sphere of influence. But she's been in the business like 8 years and she put in the time and the energy, in her Facebook ads and open houses and all those things, but to build up that book of business, if you will, that again is your future gold. And why do I call it the future gold? Because it doesn't cost you any money. Takes very little time because they're already sold on you. You don't need to convince them. You're just getting calls of, hey, we're ready to go buy and sell, or hey, we're thinking about buying and selling. So and so said that we need to use you. Said that you're amazing. Love to set up a time to meet. It's the easiest to acquire. the least resistant to acquire, and the cheapest. It's pure profit. So that's why I say that this is your future gold. So then from there, I'm also convinced that 88% the agents or the buyers, sellers said they would do business with them, but end up only, not doing business with them. I don't believe that. It's because I don't believe that they do this intentionally. For like 20 years, all I do, and you're probably the same, maybe you are, maybe you're not. But it's like, dude, I've got to the point where, and maybe my situation's different because I just moved from Michigan to Phoenix right when I got into the business, so I didn't have any friends. So like all of our friends came from clients and from real estate agents. And, if you look at today, it's like pretty much every one of my good friends, close friends, everybody I hang out with is like in real estate. And I met thousands and thousands of just such amazing human beings that are attached to our industry. The vast majority of the industry that I know, that I've met, that I've been able to have the honor and pleasure of meeting, they're the biggest hearted, kindest people, give their shirt off their back for anybody. Now, of course, are there some, bad apples in our industry? For sure. That's going to happen in any industry. But what my experience is that the vast majority of our industry are amazing human beings with big hearts that go above and beyond, that would do anything and everything for other people. They're good-hearted, amazing people. So I don't think that they do this intentionally of like, oh, hey, I'm just going to collect this commission check, peace out, see you later, good luck, and go on to the next. I don't think they're doing it intentionally, at least in my experience from coaching 5,000 plus realtors, team leaders, and broker owners, over the last decade, is that they don't have the right systems and processes in place. So things slip through the cracks. And yeah, we got to have now business. We got to have that immediate business. So they're, chasing that next check, that next client to the next client to the next client. And then because they don't take the time to hone in those systems and processes, then those things slip through the cracks. And they spend their whole entire career going after and chasing the most time consuming, the most costly, the most expensive, the most resistant heavy type of business, which is new client business. So reason why I'm kind of stressing this in the beginning is don't be that person. I want you to understand that, if you set the foundation right, life gets good, business gets good, you'll get to the point, depending on how big you want to take this, but you can easily get to the point, within several years where you got 30, 40, 50, 100, 200, 300 deals, again, depending on how big you want to scale this, that are just repeat referral deals. It's easy business, right? And you're also doing business with people that know you, like you, trust you, that treat you good, that aren't treating you like crap, so it is that future gold. So today I want to walk you through how to get intentional with this, what type of systems and processes, like how to be strategic with this so you can grow this, you can expand this. And the key word here is being intentional. The vast majority that I see are not intentional with this. They have, like a lot of people might know them, like them, and trust them, but they don't have an intentional strategy to funnel these people in. Because if you look at the overall real estate game, if we just started to simplify this, it is to get people to know you, like you, trust you, be aware of what you do for a living, stay in touch with them frequently, and or keep your business in front of them frequently. Your business continues to grow and expand. People can know, like, and trust you all day long. They can see you frequently. But if they do not know what you do for a living, if you're not intentionally planting that seed of what you do for a living frequently, in front of them, you're not going to get that referral business. So all of this needs to come together. The other thing real quick is you don't need to beg for referrals. You don't have to be that, that beggy, pushy agent that every time you're calling somebody that in your SOI, we're like, oh, who do you know looking to buy or sell? Like, you don't need to be, you can if you want to. I've never felt good with that. I've never felt comfortable with that. I don't want people to think that I'm just using them for business. So my approach hasn't been that way, but I've been able to do an insane amount of repeat referral business throughout my career, as well as my coaching clients and those that I partner with and those that I mentor. So today I want to break that down. Now, real quick before I do so, if you have interest of learning more about how we can partner together inside of our real estate businesses here at EXP, and how, again, we can partner together where you get full free access to me, to my mentorship, to all my coaching, all of my training, as well as my business partner, Mike Sherrard, who's the best in the world at social media, AI, where you get access to all of our training, all of our coaching, all of our mentorship, our online digital programs, our weekly live group Zoom calls, also get one-on-one support to help you grow and expand your business. If you want to learn how we can partner together, where you get all of our coaching, all of our mentorship, all of our training 100% for free, go to www.exp www.gsdmode.com/partner, where you can schedule a 100% confidential, 100% zero pressure Zoom call with me personally, where I'm just going to walk you through and break down, hey, here's everything that we do. Here's how we operate. Here's how we work. And look, at the end of the call, you feel we're a better overall fit for you to help you hit your real estate goals and grow your real estate business, great. If not, that's okay too. We can still be friends. Everything I do, zero pressure. You have my word. You're not going to be recruited. You're not going to be sold. You're not going to be, hard pitched. I'm just want to show you, hey, what this opportunity looks like. If you think it's a great fit, cool. If not, that's okay too. So again, if you want to take advantage of that, go to www.gsdmode.com/partner. Okay, so now let's jump into building out being intentional with your sphere of influence strategy so you can maximize on this future repeat referral business and all this future gold. So hopefully you can see this here. Let me actually flip this over. It might be a little bit easier to see this. I got some notes on the page behind it. So if I pull this up, hopefully you can see this. Those of you that are watching this on YouTube, for those of you that aren't watching this, I'm going to describe it. So I've got a wheel here. So if you look at a wheel, think of a bicycle wheel, right? Like you got this wheel and then you have all these different spokes to it, right? So then when we look at these different spokes, all of these different spokes are going to be all the different things that you are involved in your life. So this is where I always start. Like if I'm working with a coaching client, we'll come down with their sphere of influence strategy, we start breaking this down. So let's just say, okay, one of those spokes, so you got your wheel and then you got all these little spokes inside that wheel. For some of you, you might have 4 spokes. Some of you might have 20 spokes. It's going to be different. But let's just say, okay, you got past clients. Now that is one spoke right inside the wheel. Then from there, okay, you got friends. Then you got family. Each of those are different spoke, right? But then I want you to start thinking about this. And I recommend that you get out a blank sheet of paper and just start writing this out right now. Write out your sphere of influence wheel and then write out that spoke. So what else do you do? What else? Okay, hey, maybe you belong to a local health club. Like thinking about your hobbies. Maybe you're part of, a hiking group. Maybe you go to a local church. Do you have kids? Okay, well, you got with your kids, like, okay, you got your kids' friends' parents. Then, okay, maybe your kids are involved in different recreation activities. So then you can start listing those. So what are all the different ways, like your hobbies, the things that you're out and about getting people. Again, this is your sphere of influence, getting people to know, like, and trust you. What are all the different ways that you are in your community, doing those different things? And this is why I said for some of you are hardcore introverted where you're like, Josh, dude, I do real estate, I hit the gym, I go to church, that's it. I don't care about any of the other stuff. Right? Some of you are social butterflies where you're part of like 5 different clubs and, part of this book club and this thing, right? So it's going to be different for each of us. But I just want you to, do an honest assessment of your life. When it comes to this. So it's like, okay, I got kids, I got, like one son that's, really involved in soccer. So I can write down that, okay, his soccer, right? So, Jackson's soccer. So then you got, like I said, okay, whether it be church, whether it be, family, friends, past clients, the local gym, all the different things that you're involved in. So we want to start making, like each one of those becomes a different spoke in the wheel. Obviously, past clients is just one of those spokes, and we got all these different spokes. Yeah, right? Okay, maybe you're new to real estate. Well, what was your previous career before you got into real estate? Yeah, I just had a dude on the podcast that was in the studio right before I started recording this podcast video with you guys. And his first couple years was pretty much just all sphere of influence from his previous job, his previous career. He just was very intentional about keeping those relationships alive, letting them know that he made the transition to real estate, and so forth. Okay, so then from there, now that we have our SOI wheel filled out, now we need to then come up with an intentional strategy of where we're going to funnel those people to. And I'm going to walk you guys through what I do. You don't need to do what I do. I just want to walk you through what I do because I know it can be more helpful when we get specific examples, right? So what I do for my sphere of influence, I really leverage social media, and I treat social media as my sphere of influence CRM. So we got our business CRM. So whether you're using like Perfect Storm or Follow a Boss or Lofty or KV Core, okay, you got all these different business CRMs. Okay, I use Perfect Storm as my business CRM. So what am I doing? I'm always feeding it leads. But then, okay, I need to work those leads to turn those into clients, right? So I'm calling, I'm texting, I'm emailing. So if I look at, okay, social media, so let's just say Facebook and Instagram are my two main focuses here when it comes to this strategy I'm walking you through here today. Okay, I got to feed my social CRM, those two platforms, leads, AKA connections. Then from there, instead of calling, texting, emailing, I'm posting content, engaging in that content, and engaging in other people's content, right? So instead of calling, texting, emailing, I'm posting, creating content, posting content, engaging in that content, and engaging in others' content, right? Because again, we're using these different systems, these social media CRMs, if you will, to play the real estate game, get people to know us, like us, trust us, be aware of what we do for a living, follow up frequently, our business continues to grow. So then I go to each one of these little legs, or each one of these different spokes. And I'm like, okay, how can I funnel these people intentionally these people that I'm meeting, getting to know, like, and trust, playing the game, right? Know, like, and trust, follow up frequently, and or keep your business in front of them frequently, or keep your message in front of them frequently, your business continues to grow. That's the game of real estate. It's very simple. Get people to know you, like you, trust you, be aware of what you do for a living, stay in touch frequently, and or keep your message in front of them frequently, your business continues to grow and expand. Okay, so past clients. For clients, past clients, okay, part of, like for any of you that coach with me or partner with me at XP, when you start jumping into my buyer manuals, my listing manuals, okay, part of our process is once we get that buyer broker agreement or once we get that listing agreement, before we leave that meeting, we ask them, hey, are you on Facebook? Okay, cool. What's your name under? Okay, cool. Shot your friend request. You on Instagram? Okay, cool. Shot your friend, connection request there. Right? So I'm not going to leave that room, that table, without connecting with them on social media. So that's how I start getting my past clients, or my clients. They're not past clients yet, but they will become past clients, right, into my social media kind of ecosystem. Then obviously friends, family, that's a little bit easier, but being intentional about making sure that you've requested, liked, or friend requested, or connection requested them. Then from there, let's just talk about, I'll use like my son's soccer as an example. So he's getting ready this week to start a new, soccer league, soccer season. So let's just say I'm at a soccer practice, drop on a soccer practice. I'm having a conversation with one of the other kids that's, new to the team with their dads. We're having a great conversation. We're sitting there for an hour watching our kids play soccer, striking up a good conversation. I'm learning about them, connecting with them. Like, I'm not talking about real estate. I'm not making about real estate. Like, if they bring it up, then I'll bring, whatever. But like, I'm just making about them. I'm just connecting with them. I'm not making this about selling real estate. I'm making this about connecting with them and becoming friends. Yeah, right? Like trying to deepen that connection. But then before I leave, it's, hey man, really enjoy talking with you. Definitely have to stay in touch. Hey, real quick, man, you on Facebook? Pull my phone. Okay, cool. Just shot your request, man. We'll definitely have to stay in touch. Great talk with you. See you on Wednesday. So we are in an era where it's no longer weird to connect with people on social media. People would rather connect with you on Facebook or Instagram or on any social app than they would give you their cell numbers. So again, it's not weird, but we need to be intentional with this stuff. So I had one of my top agents on my team, years ago, that was very involved in his church. He was a local youth pastor at his church, very involved with his church. And he came to me and he's like, man, it's so hard because I get all these, these members of our church that will strike up conversations and they'll be like, oh, I just bought and sold a piece of real estate. And he goes, and it just drives, because like he's a realtor too. Yeah, right. But he goes, they know me as, this person from church. They don't know me as this person, also the realtor. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, but he's like, I don't want to be that, douchey realtor, like wearing my named badge to church and being in their face. I'm like, cool, don't. Show up to church, do your church thing, man. Be there for them, be there to support them, be there as the youth pastor. Focus on, like, just keep that focus going. Like, focus on the church stuff, right? Don't even think about real estate, don't even bring up real estate, whatever. Now just be intentional though about once you connect with them, become, quote unquote friends or acquaintances, right? Of friend requesting and connecting with them on Facebook and Instagram. So then from there, now that we have so we think about, okay, how are we going to funnel each one of these different spokes, into our connection platform. So for me, it's going to be social media. Maybe for you, it's, I don't know, maybe it's a newsletter, maybe it's something different. It doesn't need to be social media, but this is just what I do and how I leverage social media then. And it just makes it very easy for me. So then on social media, okay, this is how I'm feeding it, right? Social media is my social CRM. So I'm feeding it connections with my sphere of influence, people I'm getting to become friends with, know, like, trust. Like, I'm just being very intentional with that. I had somebody the other day that just recently partnered with me at EXP, a new agent, and they're like, well, I'm getting my business cards. Any recommendation for my business cards? I'm like, yeah, like get the business cards and then make it a goal of never having to hand one of them out. And I'm like, okay, if somebody asks for, okay, fine. Yeah, right. But I'm like, be intentional, never hand one out. Yeah, right. Like I want to connect with them in other ways. So when people come up to me like, dude, Josh, you got a card? I just ran out, or no, I don't have one on me. Hey, let me do this. What's your cell number? I'll text you my information right now. Hey, you also on Facebook? Okay, cool. I'll show you, connection there. That way, then I'm leading them on the right path. Because I know if I give them a business card, it's going to wind up in the trash or wind up in the lint trash or the lint trap in the washing machine, right? So then from there, okay, I'm feeding them into social media. Then I have my 4-to-1 posting strategy on social media. All this means is of 4 pieces of content that I create. One is real estate specific. The other 3 are not. So another way of looking at this is 75% not real estate related, 25% real estate related. And then with the real estate stuff, like I don't need to sell. I don't need to be like, oh, just sold in 2 days above list. Call me, if you think about selling. No, I just got to plant that seed. So maybe I got, homeowners that are a family that's in front of a home that they just sold. They're holding a sold sign. I'm coming from a place of gratitude. It's received much better. So excited for, my amazing clients that just closed in their dream home. So blessed and honored that they chose me to be their real estate agent through this process. I'm still saying I sold a home. I'm still planting that seed that I sold a home. I'm still planting a seed that I'm in real estate, but it comes from a place of gratitude. It's not in their face salesy that turns people off. So that's just my rule is, okay, of 4, it doesn't need to be this exact. It could be 80-20, it could be 60-40, it could be even 50-50. But personally, I want to post more personal stuff because that's going to get them to know, like, and trust, right? Because we're talking about your sphere of influence. These are the people that are connected with you, right? So they want to see stuff about you. They want to continue getting to know you and see what's going on in your world, right? And that also increases, you're going to get way more engagement on your personal posts than you will on the business stuff. But then 25% of the time, just slide in that, so if I'm doing, posting 4 pieces of content a day, which is always my goal, then one of those is going to be real estate. The other 3 are not. Now, if you're like, oh, Josh, I can't post 4 times a day. That's too much. Okay, we'll just start with 1 a day. Then every 4th day, you're going to have something that's real estate related. Maybe you're visiting a new build, new builds are always tricked out. You're walking in the kitchen and you're like, oh, dude, I got to create a reel of this kitchen. This kitchen's awesome. So it's just, hey guys, what's going on? Joshua Smith here at EXP Realty. I'm actually at the corner of Reams and Cactus visiting this new build development for a potential client and walked in this model home, and you guys got to check out this kitchen. This kitchen is mind blowing. Let me show it to you. So then I'm walking through doing a quick reel of that kitchen, maybe doing a poll of could you see yourself, living in this kitchen, whatever. Like, I'm planting that seed that, hey, I'm in real estate. Yeah, right? Kind of document and bring them into our world. And there's a bazillion, piece of content out there of what to go post about real estate, right? So hopefully you already know that, understand that, and grasp that. If not, there's a lot of resources out there. You can use ChatGPT for what to go out there and post. The thing is, though, you got to plant that seed, because like I said, it's about getting people to know you, like you, trust you, be aware of what you do for a living, stay in touch frequently, and or keep your message in front frequently. Your business continues to grow and expand. Your mother will forget that you are a real estate agent, right? Like everybody that you know, like, and trust, like they will forget you are a real estate agent. It's your job as a real estate professional to teach and train people to do business with you, do repeat business with you, and send you referrals. So this is where we want to be intentional. And I can promise you, have so many, not just in my own personal experience, but so many that I've mentored, that I've coached, that I've trained, that I've worked with, whether it be teammates on my team or other coaching clients. I've coached 5,000 or well over 5,000 at this point, agents, team leaders, and broker owners all over the U.S., Canada, all different markets. And I can tell you, if you stay consistent with this and if you're intentional with this, it's a long game. So we got to be playing the long game. We got to be thinking about, okay, well, what's life going to look like in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, especially like when that 5-year hits. Now, it doesn't take 5 years before business will start kicking up from this, but that's where like it'll start becoming a life changer in 5 years, where then you're not having to go out there and do open houses every day. You're not having to go out there and cold call. Like I'm willing to go do those things, but I don't know about you, but I'm like, hey, I don't want to do those things indefinitely. It's like I cranked open houses, I cranked cold call, I cranked those things for, a couple years, several years. But the whole point was this is a means to an end So eventually I get all this repeat referral business coming in, have inbound business coming in, have other silos that replaces these things. So I'm not having to do those things indefinitely. As much as I love open houses, as much as I love, new client acquisition, it's like, dude, after a while, that shit gets tiresome. I don't know about you guys, but man, I like pounding the phones hours every single day. It gets tiresome. And maybe you're not tired right now, but I can promise you, if you're pounding the phones 2-3 hours every single day, 5 days a week, 5 years from now, come back to me and tell me that you're not tired. Yeah, I've never seen it happen. So this is really planting those future seeds, that future gold. So then eventually your business just takes off and explodes, and you can be like the agent that I was talking with the other day, long-term coaching mentor client of mine, who's a partner with me now at AXP, Nalika, who's on track to close 70 deals this year. She's not having to do any open houses. She's not having to go out there and cold call. These are just people coming to her now because she's set that foundation. So this is how you can go out there, grow your SOI without having to beg, without, but grow it strategically, but you must be intentional with it. So I hope that this was helpful. Again, if you want to learn more about what partnering can look like and what this opportunity looks like with us partnering together at EXP, we're not talking about a team. Talking about me working with you side by side, supporting you, coaching you, mentoring you to crush your own business, where you get full 100% free access to all my coaching, all my training, all my mentorship, as well as my business partner, Mike Sherrard's coaching, training, mentorship, who's the best in the world at social media, AI. Dude is a beast. But if you want to discuss and learn more about what this opportunity looks like, go to www.gsdmode.com/partner for a 100% confidential, 100% zero pressure Zoom call with just you and I, where I'll walk you through, hey, here's what we do, here's how we work, here's how we operate, answer any questions that you have. And look, at the end of that call, if you feel like this is a better overall fit to help you hit your goals and you're like, hey, this is where I need to be and want to be, awesome. If not, that is okay too. We can still be friends. Everything I do, zero pressure. You have my word. You will not be sold, pushed, recruited, none of that BS. So that's something, again, you want to learn more about, www.gsdmode.com/partner. All right, guys, keep crushing it, and we will talk to you next time. Peace.